إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا من سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدى هدى محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. After praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and sending immense greetings and salutations upon the final Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, continuing our journey looking at various ahadith of Qudsiyah. The previous few cluster of ahadith have been speaking about the theme of Al-Jannah, and the believer needs to continuously remind himself or herself that being placed upon this earth and the end result and the end goal is to return back to the eternal abode, the eternal bliss. That's the Quran. When it begins, it speaks about belief in the unseen. Believers are those individuals الَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ, who believe in the unseen. Thus we find that more living in the West, that belief in al-akhirah, in the hereafter, belief in the return back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala begins to diminish, begins to weaken. زَعْمَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا أَن لَّن يُبْعَثُوا قُلْ بَلَى وَرَبِّي لَتُبْعَثُنَّ ثُمَّ لَتُنَبَّؤُنَّ بِمَا عَمِلْتُمْ وَذَلِكَ عَلَى اللَّهِ يَسِيرٌ. زَعْمَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا أَن لَّن يُبْعَثُوا. Disbelieving individuals, they claim, we're never going to be resurrected. Thus you find this concept of al-ba'th wal-nushur begins to trickle into amongst some Muslims, believing there's going to be no hereafter. There's no life after this life. There's no eternal punishment or eternal reward. Live life upon this dunya and enjoy it as much as you can. This is a cliche that is far spilling into this Muslim ummah, of just enjoying your life. Live for this dunya, live for this world, gain whatever you want from this world, and failing to understand that the Quran begins by speaking about the belief in the unseen. الَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ. There's going to be many things. Believers are not going to be given the face of this earth. They're going to be stored inside the akhirah. Al-jannatu haqq wal-naru haqq. Paradise is a reality. The fire is a reality. Al-Islam bayn al-targhib wa tarhib, wa bayn al-wa'di wal-wa'id, wa bayn al-jannati wal-nar, wa bayn al-imani wal-kufr. That's what life is, between paradise and the hellfire, between encouragement and staying away, between a promise, between a punishment, between iman, between kufr. That's what all life is. Opposites that exist on the face of this earth, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala places for the individual to find the end result. When the believer has a strong conviction inside al-akhirah, they have that journey towards, that yearning desire to return back towards al-jannah. That's why even hatta kalima al-jannah, lughatan, linguistically the word jannah is something which is concealed. For the derivatives of the Arabic language that we find, فَلَمَّا جَنَّ عَلَيْهِ اللَّيْلِ, when the night was covered, as Ibrahim alayhi salam, he mentioned, janeen, the womb, the embryo inside the woman, the stomach of the mother. And that's why we find al-jannah is bustan, which is surrounded by trees. You have to go through those trees to enter into the bustan, enter into the garden. Jannah is something which is hidden from the eye of the human being, but the yearning desire begins to lift it in the heart of the individual to return back to al-jannah, as we find. Thus we find that the beginning and the end of the Quran is nothing but jannah. It begins by speaking about jannah, and the end of the Quran, juz tabar, juz amma, it's all revolving about the theme of jannah that we find. The first discussion inside the Quran, awwal qissa fil Quran, the first story inside the Quran, before the beginning of the story of Adam alayhi salam, Allah begins to speak about jannah, about the entity of jannah. وَبَشِّرِ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ أَنَّ لَهُمْ جَنَّاتٍ تَجْرِي مِنْ تَحْتِهَا الْأَنْهَارُ. وَبَشِّرُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. Give glad tidings to those who believe. The Quran doesn't stop, because many of us, we think that we believe. وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. who carry out righteous actions. Al-Iman inda Ahli Sunnati wal Jama'ah is not just about an-nutq bil lisan, just to utter in your tongue. That's when you find this concept irja that we find that some people believe just to utter belief that I have tawheed in my life. وما هو معاني التوحيد? What is the meaning of tawheed in a person's life? To display الطاعة لله سبحانه وتعالى, العبودية لله سبحانه وتعالى, to display conviction, belief, obedience. وتخاف من عقاب الله سبحانه وتعالى, عقوبة الله. You fear the punishment of Allah. You fear that if I fall short, Allah will punish me. I will punish individuals. And will send individuals to that chastisement, to that evil punishment. That is the promise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَأُتُوا بِهِ مُتَشَابِهًا. And people have been given replicas. In some works of tafsir, قَدْ نُقِلَ عَنْ ابن عباس رضي الله تعالى عنهما. وَأُتُوا بِهِ مُتَشَابِهًا. What you eat and drink on this dunya is a replica of the akhirah. The names are the same, but the entity will be totally different inside the akhirah. تأكلون التفاح, الرمان, you eat fruits, pomegranates, apples, you drink drinks, food, clothing. You find the names inside the Quran are identical as what will exist inside the akhirah. As for the entity of how it will be inside the akhirah, is going to be totally different. This is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala begins Surah Al-Baqarah to encourage the individuals, believing individuals, about returning back towards the akhirah. Then a long discussion, a page or so, Allah begins to discuss the story of Adam alayhi salam, or story just before the beginning of Adam alayhi salam. وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً. When Allah said to the angels, I'm going to place a viceroy, a representative on the face of this earth. The angel said, are you going to place one who's going to create turmoil? وَيَسْفِكُ الدِّمَاءِ, is going to spill blood on the face of this earth. Look at the essence of the human being. وَلَقَدْ صَدَقَ الْمَلَائِكَةِ. The angel spoke the truth. How did they have this insight to understand this human being is going to come on the face of this land? He's going to create fitan, wal-fasad, وَيَسْفِكُ الدِّمَاءِ, is going to spill blood. And when you study the human nature, you study the human world at the moment, you find it's a common trait of the human being. فَأَيْ حَالٍ, what concerns us? Allah continues this story till eventually mentions, وَقُلْنَا يَا آدَمُ اسْكُنْ أَنْتَ وَزَوْجُكَ الْجَنَّةِ. That Allah said, oh Adam, you and your wife, your spouse, reside inside Jannah. And eat from the food and the drink, whatever you want from Jannah. But don't come near this one tree. But you find in other passages inside the Quran, فَوَسْوَسَ لَهُمُ الشَّيْطَانِ. Shaitan began to entice them. Began to say that maybe you're not going to live for eternity inside paradise. Once again, the nature of the human being. The human being does not suffice. It always thinks there's going to be something more for the individual. You find the son of Adam, له واد من ذهب. The son of Adam has one value of gold. The son of Adam wants to have another value of gold. And nothing will quench that thirst, that desire inside the heart of the human being, except for the turab, for the dust, the mud that is stuffed in the human being's face. Al-kinaya lil-maut, speaking about death. That's the only time the human being, that quench, that desire will be ripped out of the individual when they enter the grave. Al-haakum al-takathur hatta zurtumul maqabir. This rivalry, piling up the wealth of ornaments of this dunya, boasting about this dunya that you find, the only time you're going to forget about this, hatta zurtumul maqabir, when you go and visit the graves. Hayyan, you go and visit the graves while you're living. That's not what this passage of the Quran is highlighting. Hatta zurtumul maqabir, you go and visit the graves when you're dead individuals. You've left this dunya, that's the only time this desire is going to be ripped out of your hearts and your mind. And thus we find that the preparation that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed for the human beings, that we do strengthen our iman, strengthen our desire. In this hadith Qudsi of today, أَعْدَدْتُ لِعِبَادِي الصَّالِحِينَ مَا لَا عَيْنٌ رَأَتْ وَلَا أُذُنٌ سَمِعَتْ وَلَا خَطَرَ عَلَى قَلْبِ بَشَرٍ. I have prepared for my servants what no eye has seen, what no ear has heard, and the perception and the thought and the feeling has not come upon the chest of any human being. No individual can perceive or understand what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prepared for the believing individuals inside the akhirah. فَقَرَأُوا مَا شِئْتُمْ. Then we find that Abu Hurairah narrates this hadith mentions, then recite if you will this passage from the Quran, فَلَا تَعْلَمُ نَفْسٌ مَا أُخْفِيَ لَهُمْ مِنْ قُرَّةِ أَعْيُنٍ جَزَاءً بِمَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. This is the recompense, the reward that we're given to this individual. No soul knows what the coolness of the eyes will be for the individual inside the akhirah. جَزَاءً بِمَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. Reward, recompense, because of the actions they carried out on the face of this earth. When you go into the akhirah, hayatul barzakhiyah, when you enter into the interspace, you enter into the grave, there's no returning back. Some people are going to say, رَبِّ ارْجِعُونَ لَعَلِّي أَعْمَلُ صَالِحًا فِي مَا تَرَكْتُ كَلَّا إِنَّهَا كَلِمَةٌ هُوَ قَائِلُهَا. Some of us are going to say, oh my Lord, رَبِّ ارْجِعُونَ, let me come back to the face of this earth. لَعَلِّي أَعْمَلُ صَالِحًا, give me opportunity to carry out righteous actions upon this dunya. كَلَّا إِنَّهَا كَلِمَةٌ هُوَ قَائِلُهَا. These are vain words. These are empty words. They have no meaning today. You had ample opportunity on the face of this earth. 40 sana, 50 sana, 60 sana, بعضكم 70 sana. 40 years, 50 years, 60 years, 70 years of your life, you had ample opportunity to prepare yourself. What did I ask you for? What did Allah ask us for? أن تؤمنوا بالله سبحانه وتعالى وتقيموا الصلاة وتؤتوا الزكاة وتصوم في رمضان وتحج البيت من استطاع إليه سبيلا. That's all that Allah asked us for. To believe in one Allah, the one and only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to submit to Him, to pray 5 times a day, to give the zakah if you have the money to do so, to fast the month of Ramadan and to perform the pilgrimage. Whoever has the ability to do so, whoever does that will enter into the paradise of your Lord. That's all that Allah asks us for. وَأَلَّا تُشْرِكْ بِهِ شَيْئًا, and never associate any partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your entire life. Because shirk takes you away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَأَنْوَاءُ الشِّرْكِ كَثِيرًا. There are many formats of shirk, that which is apparent on the face of this earth. That people will worship others besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, will call upon others besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then hidden elements. Because some of us in the Western world say, I don't bow down to a grave, to a shrine, I don't believe in a Satan how these people believe. But some of us that we find deep down inside our hearts, we find other elements of love, other elements of devotion inside our hearts, and to be ripped out. Ta'isa abdul dinar wa ta'isa abdul dirham. Wretched is the one who worships the pound and the dollar, who worships wealth and commodity, who lives for that, who dies for that, who lives for power, who lives for glory, who lives for power upon people, to dictate upon people, who has a love for this inside their heart. These are all anwar of shirk. These are all formats of shirk that some of us, we be passive about it. We don't want to speak about it. These are forms of shirk that exist inside the hearts and the minds of certain individuals. They live for that. They die for that. That a person should be wary inside their heart, that there should be no element of shirk that exists. No element of shirk that exists in the heart of the individual. It should be purified totally. يَوْمَ لَا يَنْفَعُ مَالٌ وَلَا بَنُونَ إِلَّا مَنْ أَتَى اللَّهَ بِقَلْبٍ سَلِيمٍ. On that day, nothing will avail the individual. Not your wealth, not your power, not your children. Nothing will avail you. إِلَّا مَنْ أَتَى اللَّهَ بِقَلْبٍ سَلِيمٍ. Except for the individual who comes with a pure heart. أَلَا لِلَّهِ دِينُ الْخَالِصِ. For Allah is the pure deen, pure submission, pure devotion, commitment to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inside our hearts, inside our actions and belief and conviction towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The end is not dark and gloomy. Yes, at times we may preach to people, preach to Muslims, there is going to be punishment, but at the same time there's going to be a good ending. Because Al-Jannah, liman? Lil-Muttaqeen. Jannah is going to be for the pious individuals. Those people who believe in Allah, who carry out the righteous action. It's for those individuals. That's why the Quran is replete with so many ayat inside the Quran. لِوَصْفِ الْجَنَّةِ. Speaking about the descriptive nature of Jannah. Ahadith. So many collections of ahadith that you find, books on ahadith. In all of the collections, you'll find a section classified as Kitabul Jannah, the book of Jannah. Or speaking about Nar, Kitabul Jannah, or Sifatu Na'imiha wa Ahliha. It's a Sahih Muslim that we find, the book of Jannah. And the book of descriptive nature for what exists for the people of Jannah. You know, maybe for some of us, we may not be so well versed in certain things inside our life. But just read 2 things inside your life. Read Kitabul Iman of Sahih Muslim in the beginning, to see what your creed is, to see what your belief is. What the belief, what is halawatul iman? What is ta'mul iman? What is the sweetness of iman? What is the beauty of iman? What is my iman? And then read at the end, Kitabul Jannah wa sifatul na'imiha. Read the book of Jannah and the descriptive nature of the people of paradise and the blessing of paradise. Bring that together inside your small life and you'll see the end result. This is what I believe in, and this is the end result that I want to gain from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's why likewise many ulama have collected this descriptive nature of Jannah. Imam Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah في كتابه القيم النونية, lines of poetry when speaking about عقيدة الفرقة الناجية, classified as Kitab al-Nuniyah. Lines of poetry, every single line of poetry يختم بكلمة النون, ends with the harf noon. Every single, thousands of lines of poetry. Inside these thousands of lines of poetry, he dedicates more than maybe 500 lines. A whole book in itself, inside this book of aqa'id, of belief, speaking about wasful Jannah, wa na'imul Jannah, wa ahlul Jannah, and the people of Jannah. For what intent? Why in a book of aqidah, speaking about belief, and people deviate, people become corrupt inside their belief? Why does he spend hundreds of lines of poetry speaking about Jannah? Because aqidah is not a dogma, it's not theology, it's not refutation. That's one element of aqa'id. Aqa'id is iman, is action, is the end result. That what will be the end result of my belief? The end result of the believers will be وُجُوهُ يَوْمَئِذٍ نَاظِرَةٍ إِلَىٰ رَبِّهَا نَاظِرَةٍ. You find faces that they will be radiant, will be glowing, will be shining, looking at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The person, some Muslims, they mock at other Muslims. إيش هذا الصلاة تصلي 5 مرات كل يوم? What's this prayer that you do? Perform this hajj, dress like this, be like a Muslim. Sometimes human beings, it gets to our mind, it gets to our psyche. People make these comments as human beings, we begin to weaken. Maybe, we should live like the people in the world that they live. What they have, what they enjoy themselves in. That's what they want to throw inside our minds. But when you read through this concept of Jannah, then you begin to understand that what is our belief? What am I trying to achieve inside my life? Inside Kitabul Jannah, Sifatul Na'imiha, that you find a person, one small dip, the believer who had difficulty after difficulty on the face of this earth, one small dip inside Jannah. هل مر بك بؤس قط? Did any adversity, any hardship ever come upon you in the face of this earth? One small dip in Jannah. قال لا, never in my life. And likewise the opposite. The person who lived for this world, one small dip inside Jahannam. هل مر بك نعيم قط? Do you ever enjoy your life? Did you ever enjoy your life in the face of this? One small dip inside Jahannam that we find, say, I never enjoyed my life. We have to strengthen our iman. Rakatain qabla salatul subhi. 2 units of prayer before salatul fajr that we find. For some of us, we just about drag ourselves for salatul fajr. 2 units of prayer before fajr. Hadith inside Sahih Muslim. Khayrun min ad-dunya wa ma fiha aw ma alayha. Is better than the dunya and whatever the dunya contains or whatever is on the face of that earth. 2 rak'ah of sunnah before fajr. Better than the world and whatever it contains. Hadith inside Sahih Muslim that you find. This is targhib lil-mu'mineen. This is what awakens the believer. Every day you wake up for what? The dunya, for your work, for your life, for your family, for your payroll, for your paycheck. When you wake up for salah, no shihad, no problem. Skip a prayer, pray it late. Pray it at a later time. Allah Ghafoor Rahim, Allah will forgive, Allah will pardon. فَأَيَّ عَقِيدَ هَذِهِ? What belief is this? What conviction is this? As-Sahaba, إِذَا فَاتُمْ صَلَاةُ الصُّبْحِ. If the companions got late for salah and they walk into the masjid, they will hide in the crevices in the walls. They will hide in the walls and the crevices lest anyone spot and think that I'm a munafiq, I'm a hypocrite. I miss Fajr behind whom? Behind the Prophet ﷺ. And a side point, you find al-munafiqun. Hypocrites used to pray behind the Prophet ﷺ, khasusan salatul fajr. They used to pray Fajr for what reason? So they could not be sprouted. That's what hypocrites. We're Muslims. And look at our attitude towards our life. Salatul Isha that we find. We're busy at work, busy with commitments. Pray whenever you want to pray. That's not deen of a Muslim. Pray whenever you want to pray. Pray when it suits you. إن الصلاة كانت على المؤمنين كتابا موقوتا. By default,
Prayer has been placed there at set times for the believer. There are circumstances that Sharia allows. Circumstances of delay, circumstances of need, which are a rarity. They are not the rule. They're not the golden rule that you follow every single day, that you find every single day you miss Fajr, every single day you miss Isha, every single day you get late for Asr, every single day you miss a prayer. No. There are exceptions that on rare occasions a person could be delayed genuinely. But this has become our average belief, our average perception, our average thought, that we just do the meager amount and then we gain the ultimate reward inside the Akhirah. The meager amount is just doing the fundamentals. Then possibly a person can rely upon the mercy and the forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's when Allah mentions مثل الجنة التي وعد المتقون تجري من تحت الأنهار أكلها دائم وظلها. Allah, when He speaks subhanahu wa ta'ala about Jannah, Jannah is going to be for eternity. أكلها دائم. You know, the food and the drink inside paradise remains for eternity. Some of the ulama tafsir, they try to make a depiction. When a person, when they eat a fruit, when they eat an apple, and they come to the core, they throw the apple. When you throw the core, it returns back to the apple, returns back to the tree. And every bite that you take is a different taste. وَالْعِلْمُ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ سُبْحَانَهُ وَتَعَالَى. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a perception of understanding what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given for the believers inside the Akhirah. تِلْكَ عُقْبَ الَّذِينَ اتَّقَوْا وَعُقْبَ الْكَافِرِينَ النَّارِ. This is going to be the abode of those individuals who fear Allah. اتَّقَوْا. At-taqwa Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What is taqwa Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? As you find some of the ulama described based upon the statement of Abu Hurairah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. At-taqwa is like walking upon a thorn-infested path. When you walk on that path, you are careful that lest a thorn may prick you, may harm you. That's what this dunya is. The muttaqi is the one that's walking on this dunya, who's fearful, always worried, always careful where they place their foot, where they're walking. The carefree individual is the one who doesn't care less, doesn't worry. That's why muttaqis are far higher, superior level than an average Muslim, than an average individual, because they want to gain the higher elements that Allah has promised for those individuals. وَأُقْبَلْ الْكَافِرِينَ النَّارِ. And those who are the disbelieving individuals, for them will be the punishment. In other passages of the Quran, مَثُلُ الْجَنَّةِ الَّتِي وُعِدَ الْمُتَّقُونَ. The parable of the paradise which will be prepared for the believing individuals. In there will be water which is not going to be contaminated. There's going to be milk that does not become sour. There's going to be khamr, لَذَّةٍ لِلشَّارِبِينَ, intoxicants or alcoholic sweet drinks. Man shariba khamr dunya lam yashab khamr al-akhirah. You know, there's a simple principle inside Islam. You know, people want to enjoy themselves inside this dunya. Whoever drinks the alcohol of this dunya will not drink the alcohol inside the akhirah. The alcohol inside this dunya, it mesmerizes your mind. Ummul khaba'ith, the mother of all evils, is al-khamr that we find. Amma al-khamr fil akhirah, sharaban tahura, is a pure drink. Is a pure drink that will be given to the believers inside the akhirah. And the final river that we find, al-haru, min asal musaffa, pure honey. These are the four rivers inside Jannah that we find in the believers. And as you find Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyya begins to describe these four rivers inside paradise. وَلَهُمْ فِيهَا مِنْ كُلِّ الثَّمَرَاتِ وَمَغْفِرَةٌ مِنْ رَبِّهِمْ. And all types of fruits will be given to these individuals in the forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And as we find prior to this, near enough all this surah, Muhammad is speaking about Jannah. إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُدْخِلُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ جَنَّاتٍ تَجْرِي مِنْ تَحْتِهَا الْأَنْهَارِ. Allah will enter those individuals who believe and do righteous actions, will enter them into paradise. Underneath you find that rivers are flowing. And prior to this, وَيُدْخِلُهُمُ الْجَنَّةَ عَرَّفَهَا لَهُمْ. He will enter them into Jannah as if they know it. As if they know it. That's as we began with. وَلَكُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ مُسْتَقَرٌّ وَمَتَاعٌ إِلَى حِينٍ. Allah placed us upon this earth for a short time. For a short time, and then to return back to the real abode, which is going to be Jannah. And as you find that Adam alayhi salam, فَتَلَقَّى آدَمُ مِنْ رَبِّهِ كَلِمَاتٍ فَتَابَ عَلَيْهِ إِنَّهُ التَّوَّابُ الرَّحِيمُ. Adam made the initial mistake of eating from the tree and being dispelled from Jannah and coming upon this dunya. But Allah mentioned you're going to reside there for a short time and then make your journey back towards Al-Akhirah, to return back there. Thus you find that the whole of this surah Muhammad is as if it's speaking about the contrast between Jannah and Nar. Thus you find the end passage of the Quran, this is what the theme becomes. a discussion between Jannah and Nar, people of Jannah, people of Nar. We take Surah Al-Rahman, some 80 odd verses, 86 odd verses that we find. What is the whole discussion revolving around? If we take out فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ, that occurs some 33 occasions inside this surah, you find the rest of the 50 odd verses. A discussion, al-hiwar, بَيْنَ الْجَنَّةِ وَالنَّارِ. The rest of the 50 verses is all a discussion about what is paradise and what is a hellfire. Who are the people of paradise, who are the people of hellfire? Surah Al-Waqi'ah, the 56th chapter of the Quran, the next surah. Once again the discussion is nothing less but about Jannah and about Nar. And even this ayah that we mentioned, that what Allah has prepared for these individuals, فَلَا تَعْلَمُ نَفْسٌ مَا أُخْفِيَ لَهُم مِّن قُرَّةِ أَعْيُنٍ جَزَاءً بِمَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. Carry on reading these passages. Are we going to make those people who are rebellious individuals like the believing individuals? And those individuals who believe, فَلَهُمُ الْجَنَّةُ مَأْوَى. For these individuals, there's going to be the abode of Jannah. وَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ فَسَقُوا فَمَأْوَاهُمُ النَّارُ كُلَّمَا أَرَادُوا يَخْرُجُوا مِنْهَا أُعِيدُوا فِيهَا. People who disbelieve, people who are full of fisq wal fujur, when they're being thrown inside Jahannam, كُلَّمَا أَرَادُوا يَخْرُجُوا مِنْهَا. Every time they want to come out of it, they'll be returned back into that same punishment. Taste this punishment because of your rejection of the nar that Allah Ta'ala promised. وَقُولُوا قَوْلِ هَذَا وَاسْتَغْفِرُ اللَّهِ لِي وَلَكُمْ وَلِجَمِيعِ الْمُسْلِمِينَ فَاسْتَغْفِرُوهُ إِنَّهُ الْغَفُورُ الرَّحِيمُ.
الحمد لله رب العالمين وأصلي وأسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تمسك بسنته إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. The discussion of Jannah is carried out in so many different passages of the Quran. Inside Surah Al-Zukhruf, the 43rd chapter of the Quran, which even the surah title itself entitles Al-Zukhruf, the golden ornaments. The ornaments that will be given to the individuals inside Jannah that we find for these individuals. And there will be for these individuals whatever the soul desires. Whatever the soul desires inside the Akhirah will be presented and given to these individuals. وَأَنْتُمْ فِيهَا خَالِدُونَ. And these individuals reside for eternity inside paradise. وَتِلْكَ الْجَنَّةِ الَّتِي أُورِثْتُمُوهَا بِمَا كُنْتُمْ تَعْمَلُونَ. This is the Jannah that you have inherited, that's been granted to you because of the actions you used to carry out upon this dunya. And that's when we focus on the concept of inheritance. The inheritance of the believer inside Jannah that we find inside the Akhirah. أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْوَارِثُونَ الَّذِينَ يَرِثُونَ الْفِرْدَوْسَ هُمْ فِيهَا خَالِدُونَ. Those individuals who are going to inherit. What are they going to inherit? They're going to inherit Jannatul Firdaus. They're going to reside in paradise for eternity. Naqif huna. Because some of us may think, right, we're going to enter into Jannatul Firdaus. Go back the previous 10 ayah. Look at the beginning of Surah Al-Mu'minun, the 23rd chapter of the Quran, where Allah mentions Awsaf li Ahli Jannah, Awsaf al-Muttaqeen, Awsaf al-Mu'mineen, Qad aflaha al-Mu'minun, alladhina hum fi salatihim khashi'un. Qad aflaha al-Mu'minun. Successful are the believing individuals. You know, success in the Quran is a very deep word. Allah in other cases of the Quran mentions about success. That person individual, فَمَنْ زُحْزِحَ عَنِ النَّارِ وَأُدْخِلَ الْجَنَّةَ فَقَدْ فَازَ وَمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا مَتَاعُ الْغُرُورِ. At the end of Surah Ali Imran. Whoever is rescued from the hellfire, whoever is delivered from the hellfire, فَقَدْ فَازَ. That is the ultimate success. Then Allah sends this ishara to warn us. وَمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا مَتَاعُ الْغُرُورِ. This world is going to deceive you, is going to derail you, is going to take you away from my path, away from the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is real success inside the Akhirah that we find. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. Successful are the believing individuals. Awwal sifa. الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. Who are submissive inside their prayer. Then the sifat, they continue these individuals. And then eventually Allah mentioned these are the ones who are going to inherit paradise inside the Akhirah. لَكُمْ فِيهَا فَاكِهَةٌ كَثِيرَةٌ مِنْهَا تَأْكُلُونَ. You're going to have so many fruits and blessings are going to be given to you, and you're going to eat from these blessings inside the Akhirah. And some ulama have mentioned a reason for this hadith.
They begin to dissect what is the reason of narration or the mention of this hadith that we find that Musa alayhi salam, he asked about the rank of the individual or the last person in paradise, or lowest rank inside paradise. So you find that udkhul, it will be said to this person, enter to Jannah. كيف أدخل وقد نزلوا منازلهم? How could I enter? Everybody's entered into their environments, into their destinations. How could I enter? There's nothing left that's left for me. It will be said to this individual, you'll be given the like of what the kings on the face of this earth were given. And you'll be given rather 10 times over what the kings of the face of this earth are given. Whatever these individuals possess, even more than that. And then it will say, then even more, to raise your rank. It will be said, إِنِّي غَرَسْتُ كَرَامَتَهُمْ يعني بِيَدِي وَخَتَمْتُهَا عَلَيْهَا أو خَتَمْتُ عَلَيْهَا. And what I prepared for these believing individuals, I prepared with my own hands. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning. That what I prepared for these believers, this is for the last person inside Jannah that I prepared by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself subhanahu wa ta'ala, and sealed it for these individuals. فَلَا عَيْنُ رَعَتْ وَلَا عُذْنٌ سَمِعَتْ وَلَا خَطَرَ عَلَى قَلْبِ بَشَرٍ. In other words, when speaking about the last person that enters, آخِرُ مَنْ يَدْخُلُ الْجَنَّةِ تَرْخِيبًا لَنَا, for us to awaken ourselves. Some wordings that you find there will be two individuals that they're heading towards the hellfire. And one of them, he will glance back. And Allah will say to him, what made you turn back? He said that I was hoping and aspiring for your forgiveness and for you to pardon and to overlook me. And Allah will over pardon and forgive this individual. Even the ulama of hadith have critiqued this hadith with authenticity. But the following hadith is authentic inside the Sahih of Imam Muslim, speaking about the final person to enter into Jannah. You find this person will walk, will crawl, will fall, will get burned. And then this person will be taken out, rescued from the hellfire. He will think that I am the most subhanallah, I am the most blessed individual that ever existed. I'm the most blessed individual ever existed, that I'm no longer going to be punished inside the fire, I'm going to be thrown inside the fire. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grants him a tree, a great big tree, and says to him, go and rest underneath that tree, eat from the fruits of that tree, drink from the water that flows from underneath this tree. So this individual goes and he rests there. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows the nature of the human being. أَلَا يَعْلَمُ مَنْ خَلَقْ وَهُوَ اللَّطِيفُ الْخَبِيرُ. Does not Allah know what He's created? Look at the nature of us human beings. قَبْلَ الدُّنْيَا فِي الْآخِرَةِ. Allah knows what we want. Deep down inside our hearts, what we yearn and we desire for. Another tree is propped up, which is a far bigger tree than the first tree. This person says that, oh Allah, bring me closer to that tree. But you was told not to ask for anything else, not to desire anything else. He said, Ya Allah, I know that, but let me come close to this tree. So he's granted to come to the second tree. Don't ask for anything else beyond this. When he comes to the second tree, after a while, after rejoicing with the fruits and the water, a third tree is propped up. And he asked, Allah, grant me to come closer to that tree. Did you not say you're not going to ask for anything else? But insan forgets quickly the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah grants him to come to the third tree. When he comes to the third tree is next to the gates of Jannah. He hears the sounds of the people of Jannah. He says, Ya Allah, let me enter amongst these people. But I said to you not to ask for anything else, you won't be granted anything else. But once again, he persists in asking. So when he enters into Jannah, وَهَذَا آخِرُ رَجَلْ يَدْخُلُ الْجَنَّةِ. This is going to be the final person who enters into Jannah. And this person, when he enters into Jannah, Al-Hadith Marwahu Abdullah bin Mas'ud, who said that at this moment in time, the Prophet ﷺ, he smiled. He said, why don't you ask me why am I smiling? He said, at this moment in time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala laughs at this individual, smiles at this individual, and keeps on asking for more and more and more. And I can give whatever I want to the human being. I can give him whatever I want. I can do whatever I want in my ability, in my power, in my mind. So I forgive this individual. And I grant this individual whatever this individual wants, whatever he desired upon the face of this earth, and 10 times over. The person says, are you making a mockery out of me? Are you jesting at me, Ya Rab? Are you making a joke out of me? By granting me 10 times over and the world will ever exist. وَهَذَا آخِرُ رَجَلْ يَدْخُلُ الْجَنَّةِ. This is the final man to go to Jannah. Allah grants him 10 times over this world over. Grants it to him. لأنه سبحانه وتعالى ويفعل ما يشاء. does whatever he wants. No one can question Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No one can place anyone in Jannah, and no one can remove anyone from Jannah. No one can place anyone inside the hellfire or take anyone out the hellfire, illallah, except for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He will do that. He will deal with all of these subjects in a just manner. وَمَا أَنَا بِظَلَّامٍ لِلْعَبِيدِ. Allah does not oppress any of his servants, and will never oppress any of his servants. He's laid out codification on the face of this earth. You carry out this, and I promised you, wa'dallahi subhanahu wa ta'ala, I promise you at the end of this journey, this is what I will be given to you. وَمَنْ أَشْتَكُ مِنَ اللَّهِ حَدِيثًا وَمَنْ أَشْتَكُ مِنَ اللَّهِ قِيلًا. Who is more truthful in speech than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? His promise at the end, I will give you this, I will grant it to you. It will be given. It will be given to the believers. And as we began, that needs to be the aspiration, that needs to be the iman, that needs to be the hope, that needs to be the courage that living on the face of this earth. That this is the end that we want. This is the end that we desire. And as a side point, no matter what we do on the face of this earth, is going to be ultimately the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This world is just a small test. Allah only wants to see, what are you going to do? How are you going to overcome these obstacles? That's all that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to see. Allah doesn't see anything. Anything that you may think that we're doing a great justice to Islam, or we're doing great service to Islam. If all of mankind on the face of this earth were to become the most fearful person on the face of this earth, every single human being, مَا زَادَ فِي مُلْكِهِ شَيْئًا subhanahu wa ta'ala, will not increase in anything in the kingdomship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just like you dip the needle into the ocean, what clings to the eye of the needle? Every single person faces obeys Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, will not increase the power, the glory, the might of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And likewise the opposite, every single individual disobeys Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. مَا نَقَصَ مِن مُلْكِهِ شَيْئًا, will not diminish anything of the kingdomship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just like what clings to the eye of the needle when it's dipped into the ocean. It's only our own benefit that we serve and obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that in return He gives us His magnificent reward. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us all the tawfiq in ability to live a life of obedience, a life of ta'ah, a life of ibadah, a life of worship, a life of amr bil ma'roof wa nahy anil munkar, ordering the good, forbidding the evil, staying away from haram, trying our best for taqwallah mastata'tu on the face of this earth, that the end result Allah gives us, multiplies the reward many times over. Inna Allah wa malaikatu yusalluna ala al-nabi ya ayyuhalladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين الحمد لله رب العالمين. قوموا لصلاتكم يرحمكم الله.